Yo,
Hey,
how you doing, buddy?
great. I'm sitting here in my room, and it just dawned on me. I slept with a raccoon my whole life, and I just put it together that a raccoon's and jumping mouse. I was just thinking about it.
Tell me more.
Oh, uh, my mom said I was about 8, 9 months old, and she put me in this. I think it was like at like Mervin's or something, and she put me in this thing of stuffed animals. And I was 8 or 9 months old, and so I just clung to this raccoon, and it's been in my bed ever since then.
Wow.
No, and I read Jumping Mouse. I got to chapter 7. I haven't finished it, but I I I enjoyed reading it, but connecting with it, I've been kind of connecting with when other people share, but for some reason, I'm sitting here looking, and I'm so like full of anticipation but it quieted down. I'm like, huh. And I've just made a connection to Jumping Mouse and with Raccoon. I don't know what it is, but just it's an emotional connection I finally feel.
I love real connections versus head connections.
Yeah.
And connect the dots. We talked about connections, obviously, and dots.
Uh huh.
I don't know if you picked up, but the dots were also the eagles in the sky. The spots, the dots way up in the air.
Yeah, I
And
got there, but I didn't get where you're like.
yeah,
I was lost on most of it. I was like, I kind of get this, but I don't get it.
post about that
I
because
can do that.
there's a lot of people that think this is all about I got it, I got it, I got it, I
No,
got it, I
I
got
don't,
it,
but
and
I know I don't need to.
yeah, exactly,
And that's the
exactly.
beautiful thing is so many people get caught up in I got it, and like literally an MM when you said that on early on in the stage, I was like, oh my goodness. And so when I kept seeing people like, oh, I'm stuck, I've got so much gold. I'm like, okay, cool, good on you. It's funny. I want to tell you a story about this raccoon.
Yes.
This raccoon is about 3 feet tall,
Damn.
and on its right paw on the back, there's this because it's a brown raccoon. It's kind of it looks like it could have been bleached orange. And in my imagination when I was a kid, I grabbed my sister. I was like, I know how to fix this. And I imagine my kid, because I had been like 4 years old, maybe 5, and we walked down, and I was like, I know how to fix this. And I was like, we're gonna rub this in the sand, and it's gonna fix it. And I was so sure it was gonna work. And I don't know why I knew it was gonna work. And I rubbed it in, and it didn't work. I was like, why didn't this work? It was supposed to work. Oh.
I wonder how many times in our lifetimes we do stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get upset about it. I was like, oh, it's supposed to work. And then, we went on our merry way. I'm really glad about that because I was like, oh, that's what feeling like a kid was when I didn't have all the
Yeah,
bullshit in my
nice,
head. Like, no
nice.
joke. Like, I didn't know how to get back there until just now. So that feeling where like I didn't have all the nonsense, the weirdness, the oddness.
So we just connected more dots.
Oh yeah, I mean I love all the oddness, weirdness, and whatnot, but like the
Yes.
stuff that doesn't help me.
Well, yellow's useful when yellow's useful.
Yeah.
I love when people tell me I want a life without limits, and it says, well, enjoy being poor and
Uh-huh.
fat and thin and fit and rich and homeless, and yeah, we're here to make up limits.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was I was chatting with a guy that I really like, a friend of mine. He's younger than me. I'm 36, and he's hardcore. Believe in God, which is great because I mean I do too. But like when I was telling him, we're God here to have the experience of a lifetime and no imagination. And I said, to know God, you must be God. And he's like, well, you got to be really careful. I was like, Matt, just play with the ideas. I'm not asking you anything else. Just play with it.
God, how much caring gets sacrificed for careful?
All of it. I mean, for me, it was all of it.
Yeah. You're encouraging him. You're being caring, and he's telling you to be careful.
Yeah, and I was like, Matt, just listen. It's okay. I know you get me, and I know you're trying to warn me, but just, it's okay. I promise.
Yeah.
You can reject this or just play with it. I think you'll play with it, but I want you to have some new ideas.
Unless he digs the splinter out, it's always going to be there. So
Yeah.
you plant the seed, you put the splinter in, and
yeah, and I've got to send him Greater Than John because I told him about that and he's super intrigued.
God, that is such a goodie. I'm glad that we that's become a standard in Triple D. Just God, because it's such a universal.
Oh yeah, and I told my dad, and he got it, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, because before there's like this was about almost 2.5 months ago where my mom had like a surgery, and both of them were like essentially like, don't talk to me about this stuff, you're crazy. And I think that's when you called me. But anyhow, and I told my dad about it, about how everything's a state. He's like, huh, I really like that, and then he's like, people get stuck on it being a real life story and they don't know how to get from it. I was like, oh my gosh, did my dad just say that?
Yeah, nice. Very nice. What a gift.
I want to share something with you that I really finally, it's so cool. So I've been feeling, I couldn't put words to it until yesterday, and I'm like, I keep working with stay faithful to what I want. And I was like, well, I feel more in control. And then I was like, wait, no, that's not it. And then it came, I was like, no, you're nailing it. I'm nailing the feeling when I stay faithful. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is what, because like I would sit here 20 and I'd ask myself, what the hell am I doing? I'm doing these sessions and I'm not, and I'm doing stuff, and then I'll be like, I just haven't seen it yet, which is true. And then finally like, oh, it's just the faithful part too. Faithful, notice where I'm playing from. And those are big for me right now because I'm like, oh, it's the alive is more alive.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't even know that. I knew that it was there, but I didn't know it until I just said it. Like, yeah, the alive is more alive.
So many dots connecting today. Is this cool or what? Real dots.
Oh yeah. It's phenomenal. And when you told me when I was in Miami about the call, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make this list and we're gonna talk about all this stuff. And I forgot about the list. I forgot about the list, and then because I was like, oh, I'll make it. And then you're like, hey, let's have the call. I'm like, yeah, I'll make the list. And you're like, hey, let's have the call. And I was like, okay, when should we have a call? Let's just do it. And I'm so glad I have a stupid list.
Yeah, like the notes are what we deviate from.
Because like I wouldn't have made this. I wouldn't have told you about Raccoon. There's no way.
Totally. And then we would have missed all these connections.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, well, what am I talking about? I'm like, shut up and just do a feel real. Just do a feel real session. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay, but yeah. I love how present you are. You feel. I think this is how it feels to have me present, and it's. I'm like this present when I listen to people, and I've never felt this. I felt kind of, but it's such a feeling that I can feel when people are present. And like it's literally Tickle Belly Mountain, not just hill, of how present you are and how yes, there's it's an indescribable feeling. I'm sure you felt it, but like I don't know how to describe it.
As usual, it's the pursuit of the words. If we want to go into the words, that's the fun, nailing it. But the pursuit of it, oh my God, like Rumi or Blake.
What do you mean, Blake?
Blake, as in the poet.
William Blake?
Yes, him.
Okay. Okay. Oh. I don't know what it means, but I've got a feeling for it.
Just it's so much fun because you'll notice time and time again every day. I guarantee I write. It's not the words. It's never the words, and noticing the feeling can almost be put into words. And even when you nail it, okay, but now there's more because I just nailed it. Holy shit, man! Yeah. Versus like, oh, I want to be rich. Yeah. Okay, how's that working for you? Yeah.
Well, it does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Like,
yes.
I mean, I was listening to you the video you did earlier today, and it was so cool because I was like, screw. I mean, I didn't say it like this, but I felt it was like screw the words. I'm just feeling it, and that's why I've been and remained faithful to it, and it's here.
So creation faith?
No.
Lecture?
No,
creation,
I should go ahead.
This is a goodie. We bounced into it in when we did the club. And in creation faith, Neville says, faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. It's so different than faith is remaining faithful to what I hope for or what will come. Or it's loyalty to the unseen. Right now, Victoria just brought the puppies out, so I've got Emma just joined me on my lap. She's throwing the ball for Bruce, and in my unseen reality, there's lasagna in the kitchen still.
Right.
I'm still faithful that it's there. She's not giving me the naughty smile like she ate the rest of it. But you ever open up the fridge and you go, this is either very old meat or very new cheese. You're not sure what it is.
Yes.
Something in there.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm going to eat it anyways.
Yeah. You look at it and it's like, I don't know what that is. But it's remained faithful in my refrigerator.
Yeah.
Versus, right, I know we're going to snack on lasagna later. Oh, it's going to be good. But loyalty to that unseen reality means I know we're going to have lasagna later. Versus in Jumping Mouse, remember when he ran into Grey Wolf on the mountain, and Wolf had no memory.
Yeah, that's right where I'm at.
Oh, fuck, man. What a good section, because something has to happen for Wolf to remember. And it's such a goodie, because, it's such a goodie. I can't say anymore, because you're not there yet.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. Literally, that's like I just saw the wolf on the page, and I...
Wow. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Oh my God.
And it is. I mean, and I feel like the feeling is way more than the words.
Yes.
Like, literally. Like, there's so many things, if people would just take them literally, that you tell them, they wouldn't be struggling. They wouldn't ask 50 million questions. It's not just 20, it's 50 million. And doubting the hell out of themselves.
Yep.
And I shouldn't let it drive me nuts, but sometimes I'll let it drive me nuts. I'm like, come on, just do it. I mean, like, I won't even go. I do want to say I even love the silence that we have in this conversation. Even though it's like for 2, 3, 4, whatever second, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
Not having to fill the space allows filling the space to be a delight.
Yeah, I've never experienced that. I'm like, wow.
My friend Jody used to come sit with me on the porch because Jody had some issues. He had some physical problems prior to drug use, and he would come and sit on the porch just to experience silence.
Wow.
And then he'd go, well, I'm out of here, 20. Stand up, go back to go back to his crazy life. But sometimes we would sit on this little. It was a miniature swing. It was enough for 2 people who were intimate to sit on. And so it'd be me and Jody sitting on this swing, and the mailman would come. Hi, Dave. Hey, guys. and would just sit there. Because Jody was exceptionally normal, where in his world you had to cram something into the silence. You couldn't stand the silence in his world, and he'd come and sit in mine just so we could be. And it wouldn't matter if we were talking or not talking. The silence was just so pervasive.
You know, as you told that story, I was experiencing your experience, but I also got to experience how wonderful mine is. And I got to demolish literally the old one, but actually not even demolish because it's non-existent now. Because like once I experience it, I'm like, oh, that's mine. And that's wow. Because like 20, I thought I got a story for him. I had this group that I had to be in, and the dude's all, you must feel empathy for everyone, and I took it literal. That I had to feel exactly what they're feeling, and since I was around so much bullshit, that's all I knew how to feel. And as we're doing, literally, I just picked this up like 2 weeks ago. Literally right before, I was like, this is a curse. I don't know how to get rid of it, but I gotta get rid of it. And then something switched. Where I was like, wow, I can experience what everybody's experiencing that is good, and speeds me up even faster than would have been otherwise. And I thought it was a curse my whole life until literally maybe 3 weeks ago. Because it sucked so bad because I feel for people. And like, it helped them. But now I'm like, it's a whole new world.
As I sit here with you with that, I think about, are you familiar with the Bach flower essence guy?
No, but it sounds fascinating the way you said it.
Dr. Edward Bach. I just looked him up because he it screamed at me. 1886 to 1936. 50 years old?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So legend has it that, so he's the guy that developed the flower essences. So if you have anger problems, you take this essence. If you've got depression, you take that essence. And what he did was he would work himself up into a state of deep depression and then walk out into the fields until a particular flower felt right for him. And then he would make the flower essence out of it. Or if he would experience rage and then go out into the fields until he found the flower that negated the rage. And I guess he really stressed the shit out of his body and eventually died at the ripe old age of 50.
Right. Right.
Versus he could have approached it in such a different way instead of abusing himself with, I must fully enter these bad quote unquote states.
I don't want anyone to.
Yeah, totally. You know, it's like, cool. He made up a cool little healing system. May or may not be worth anything. I don't know, but it's a fascinating story in that.
Oh, it is.
Like, if you go out and you try to work with your clients and you fall into their scaredness or depression, you'll be scared to ask for the sale. Or depressed at the end of your presentation, or
No
it's just,
shit.
it's like, wow, I need to understand where they are. So they're in Pittsburgh. All I got to do is tell them you get on a plane for Portland if that's where you want to go. You don't got to go to Pittsburgh with them unless you want to.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, meet me in Portland. Get a plane ticket. Come on, let's go.
Man, I'm so glad you said that, because that helps with exactly with the client that I was talking to yesterday. And I actually sent him. I told him he's actually a friend of mine and John Manson's.
Right?
Man, I could have. Yeah, I've got a good ticket for him next time. So next time we chat.
Cool. You can imagine they didn't now too, just for fun.
Imagine what?
Imagine that you told them this yesterday just for fun.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Oh, that's exciting. That is so exciting.
I swear to God, I've done that with people, and when I bring it up in person, they go, "Oh yeah, I remember we talked about this." Okay.
Oh, that is
right.
well. Because as you said it, I did it, and I imagine he's just delightful and joyful with it.
Yep.
And he's like, "Wow, Scott, why don't you? We talked about this before, because you didn't ask me." So, so I was just experiencing the silence again. I'm like, man, I want this to keep going, and I just got so giddy with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to share. You know this. I'm excited for what's next on our call, because like this is more than what I imagined. I mean, I imagined really good, but I imagine for both of us just to be delighted. And at first I had this weird thing where I was like, oh, I want us to both have values. Like, shut up. Well, I didn't say shut up. That's not what I wanted. I just want us to both have a delightful call, and that's what we're gonna do.
It's always interesting for me the different flavors that a phone call can take.
Oh yeah.
Like if I'm working with someone on a business capacity,
Uh-huh.
I tend to just ask them to have a few things in mind, and I tend to have a few things in mind
Yeah.
as far as, let's say, outcomes go.
Mm-hmm.
Other calls just total open. All right, let's connect the dots. Let's enjoy the space.
Hey, Tony, I remember something you said the other day on a video, and you said something about dreams and not worrying about them or being concerned about what they are.
Sure.
And I had this dream. Well, I want to say about this dream. I want to say about the other dreams first. It's really cool. I'll have dreams, and then I'll live them out. And I'll give you an example.
Yeah, totally.
A year, I'm in Utah, and about a year before I moved to North Carolina, I have this dream. I see a white building with a window in the right upper hand corner of my dream. In the bottom right corner of the window, there's a inspection sticker, inspection placard. And then I'm like, what the hell is that? Literally, any dream I had is like, what the hell is that? And so I get to North Carolina about 10 months later, and then 2 months later, when I'm in North Carolina, I'm like, wow, there's my dream. And that's happened many times, and I want to share that because I think it's cool. Anyhow, the one dream I had, and you may tell me it doesn't mean anything, but I want to share it with you. It was 2011, and I sleep, and this is a super vivid dream. I'm kneeling down, and this beautiful woman with dark hair, with eyes. Her eyes look like literally the color of a rainbow as a pinwheel, both of them. and she kneels on my she sits on my lap, and I'm like, wow, I like this, and I was a little panicked, but I enjoyed it more, and I looked at her and said, "Who are you?" And she wrapped her arms around my neck and looked at me directly in the eyes and said, "I'm your wife." And it's like the most real thing I've ever experienced in a
Sure.
dream. I mean, is it, and I mean, I don't know, do I just think of it as an experience, or?
This is so cool because this is not terrain I normally get to talk about much.
Uh-huh.
The temptation that some people have to make a dream special invites me to say it doesn't mean anything. And at the same time, of course it does.
Yeah.
So whether or not this is what the physical wife looks like, this is definitely who you're wedded to. And you're the husband to all of your creation.
Yeah.
As well. So it's lovely to me because since consciousness is the only reality and we're what leads, God, we get to enjoy leading and we get to enjoy dancing. And surrendering to the dance that we've initiated and then leading again. And God, what a lovely, and dreams are just another part of it, you know?
I mean, I love talking about dreams. I love talking about space. I love talking about anything other than maybe murders and stuff like that. But literally, if there's a topic, then nothing's off topic with me. You know, like I told you before, but when you said I've offended seven religions, I hope I can offend some more, I was just laughing. I was like, please offend more, because I'm not offended.
Yeah, pork on Fridays. Let's go, baby. How many religions can I offend with one meal? I haven't done that in a long time. I think that dropped off the radar with the loogie. So maybe I'll have to remember to do that again.
I mean, it was just, I was tickled because I was like, I guarantee you there's so many people pissed off.
I've actually gotten mean letters from vegans that tell me since I'm so disrespectful that they're not going to read my stuff anymore. And it's like, that's sad. Yeah, it's like
sweet. I love you either way. Come back from
I love you. But man, don't throw away something good because I've got a sense of humor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I imagine that you'd be I guess I imagine you'd always be talking about everything with everybody. And I was a little surprised when you said you didn't get to talk about dreams much. Oh, I want to talk to you about something. This just popped in my mind. So I've got this girl that I've known for a while. I haven't talked to her for a while because I just got tired of talking to her, but it's super cool. She said she sees spirits everywhere, and like people that have passed away, and she's like she has to ignore them because if they realize that she notices them, then they start hanging around her more. Have you ever met anybody like this? Talked to anybody like this?
I've seeing dead people isn't a problem for me. It's interesting how you mentioned empath earlier and her now, and it's almost like that. There's this temptation to go, and again we've got a number of them in the group, people that are empaths, and it's like, and they talk about it being a curse, and it's like, well, then change. It doesn't mean you got to shut the empathy off, but it just means you get to discover your lead, you don't follow.
I don't even know what the hell an empath is. I just say screw that. I hear these people use it, and I'm like, you're nuts. Get the hell out of here.
I get that anything is anything that I've in creation faith. Neville talks about he could literally, I'm going to really poorly quote it here, use his mom and dad for a congratulatory conversation even though they're dead. Because they still are, even though their bodies are dead. So it's interesting because like any quote unquote gift we give ourselves doesn't have to have an associated curse.
Yeah. I agree with you because, like, I think that would be the most lovely thing, and I believe the way she looks at it is, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's useful or helpful.
When I worked in the nursing home, I saw a patient walking down the hall
Uh huh.
who couldn't walk,
Yeah.
and I knew right then Bert died
Oh.
because he was taking a walk. And
Yeah.
like 10 minutes later, his wife stops in the office and says, "I know how much you love Bert, and he died about 20 minutes ago." And I have to basically remember not to say I know or
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen him. It's like, yeah, Bert, yeah, Bert's out taking a stroll, lady. Boom.
Well, I mean, like, I love that. I love talking about that. I think it's phenomenal because, like, I haven't, I haven't, I don't know what to say. I haven't developed that. I haven't touched. I don't know. I mean, I've always wanted to. I wanted to my whole life because we've always talked about it in church. And even like when my mom's dad passed away, he appeared to my mom's sister and apologized to her for several things. And then she never saw him again. Or like I saw one dude in my dream, and I don't know why I said what I said to him, but I saw him. His name is Trent DeMille. Um, Grew up with him since 7th grade. Loved the guy, and he's in my dream. This was a month and a half ago. I'm like, Trent, why are you here? You're dead. And he looked at me. He looked at me, and he was kind of pissed off. And he's like, yeah, I am. And then I woke up. I was like, son of a bitch, why did I say that? I love Trent. I've been wanting to talk to him for ages. I would imagine for him. I'd pray for him. And yeah,
And so you can have a conversation with him, right?
yeah. And I was like, how the fuck how do I do this?
Yeah, you
Because I
ever?
know he's there.
So we take walks on the bike trail every day, or not the bike
Uh-huh.
trail. Fuck, I'm calling it the bike trail. They think it's a bike trail, right?
Yeah.
So we take a walk on the trails every day.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's just me and my buddy. Sometimes it's me and my buddy in Victoria.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you'll hear the jogger coming up behind you,
Uh-huh.
and almost always I end up talking to him. Right?
Yeah.
It's against the law for you to pass me without being different when you keep
That's
going.
pretty much me too.
Yeah, I got it. So there's the hearing of them approaching, often the conversation. Sometimes you smell them after they've run past you,
Uh-huh.
and you can see them going off in the distance. It's the same with dead people. Sometimes you smell them. Sometimes you
Huh.
hear them. Sometimes there's a conversation involved, or it's exactly the same.
Huh. I like
noticed
that.
I noticed my old dead dog George quit coming around at one point because I just experienced little glimpses of him or hearing him or something, and then the kittens were born, and of course I was busy with the kittens, didn't think much about George, and then I discovered one of the kittens was my old dog George, same fur, same attitude. Played the same dumb shit games with me. It's like, oh, it's you. Right. So old George came back as a cat.
Uh-huh.
But it was interesting because he would, a lot of people would say, oh, I just had a passing thought about my old dog George. No, I had an imaginal experience of my old dog George.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard him talking to the dove like he would whenever he was alive, or I'd hear him because him and the dove would coo back and forth. It was the weirdest fucking thing. So, or I'd catch a glimpse of a little black dog where I knew there wasn't a little black dog,
Uh-huh.
and until Reiki was born, and then, oh wow, you're a cat now. This will be fun.
Yeah. That with that story, with that experience, it leads me to a door that I've never that I've been taught wasn't there. And I'm super curious about it now.
Just like being a businessman, how many of us were taught that there's a door not there? Grow up and get a job, Scott.
Oh my
Go to
gosh.
college, get a job.
That's exactly what it was. Go to college, get a job, blah blah blah. That's what
Right.
I did, and it sucked because I knew my whole life that business was the key.
Yeah,
I
totally.
didn't know how to do it, and like, well, you got to go to school to do business, and so that's all I knew how to do. And I hated school. I hated college.
I love opening doors that supposedly aren't there.
Well, yeah, when you did that, it was like a whole endless doors are opening.
You be quiet. Yeah, unbelievable.
Or like, I do want to ask you this. I've noticed. I'll tell you what I'm doing, and then anyhow, I noticed that I get locked up in my chest and in my neck. And I believe because like that's where I would like hold all my pressure when I either wanted to tell somebody something or whatever. And so what I've been doing lately is to just if I feel that sensation, I'll notice from other parts of my body. Do you have any other recommendations or and also I was thinking about it tonight because I experienced it tonight is to notice what I'm imagining before I even feel this.
The whole thing of showing up sooner and sticking around longer always is a golden one to go back to. You almost have to trick yourself into showing up sooner.
Oh,
So where are you noticing this tension from?
when I feel it, it's literally right in the center of my chest, and it goes up into my throat.
So
Like literally,
where are you noticing it from?
oh, my eyes and my head.
So somehow your eyes and your head notice this tension that you just described to me.
And yeah, wow, I didn't even realize I was noticing it from them.
All right. So where do you notice your eyes and your head from?
Wow, that no,
Zzzt.
it's like it's just me. That's
It's
cool.
we're getting closer. Cool. Which
Yeah,
also means we're starting sooner.
yeah. It it sounds
I
silly to
learned.
explain it like this, but like it even feels like it's just like there's this part of me. Like I noticed I'm living in the. I've always lived in the top of my head, like my whole life,
Do you
and
have
it's
any
almost like
idea
it's a
what?
command center.
Do you have any idea what course or what courses I talk about when you meet a baby? You put your attention on its feet while you talk to it.
Oh my gosh, I love that when you said that.
Yeah, and is that in Dream Driven Day, or where the hell did I put? Where isn't that?
That was in
My
one of the calls. That was in either the Four Pillars or the Abdullah call. I don't know which one, but it's in one of the
cool,
calls.
nice.
And oh my gosh, when I heard you say that, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that to my kids. So that's
Yeah,
why I
Matt.
live there because everybody's always looking at the head.
Yeah, you learn that you're the face and the head. And if we really want to rub it in, you pat the kid on the head a couple times. Good, Scott.
Well, yeah,
Tap
you
tap
do.
on the head.
Yeah, or you rub it.
Yeah, you rub it, right? You tap it, you
Yeah,
rub it, and
touch
suddenly
it. You touch the
Scott's
nose.
Scott's this head that gets carried around by this body thing. Oh
No
my god.
shit.
No shit.
Well, it was like today because like there's the girl I was talking with last night. Um, I'll tell you her name later, but she's like, well, I noticed from the birds, and I noticed from this, and I noticed from that, and I was doing it on my walk today, but I was like, I'd rather notice from me because I'm all inside of me, and that's where I create. And I'd rather prefer to notice from there and then venture out if I want. And I like how
I
you said
noticed.
it. Go ahead.
I notice from everywhere at once, but I primarily notice from my physical body.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. Yeah, I had a psych nurse tell me decades ago. She said you move like a blind man, and I said, "What does that mean?" And she's like,
Yeah.
as if you're sensing with the unsensible." And I told her, "says Oh, I totally get it because I'm sensing from everywhere."
Yeah.
But I primarily see through my physical eyes and primarily hear through my physical ears for a reason. It's just like that whole thing of of giving life to your desires. I got one in my head right now that's you coming in through the headsets, and I got another one on my lap right now. That's the
Yeah.
dog. And it's like really giving life to those desires. God, he's all matted up and he's semi cranky, and and this is where I say and then there's Emmett.
Yeah.
just implying that you're all matted up and semi cranky, which isn't true. But it's interesting because it's like when we really get this life is not to be escaped from. This life is to be lived.
Yeah.
This little dog, as much as I clean him up, his brother will take him out and upset him or upend him and spin him around in the dirt. And they both love it. And I'm not going to stop them. It's like,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we're here to live. We're here to have the lusts and the hungers and the burps and the farts and all of it.
And I couldn't believe when she's like, "Oh, I just want to experience my imagination." I was like, "Okay, cool. Talk to you later." Because I want to experience. It's lovely to experience it. And when you said,
see, the irony to me always is, I only want to experience it in my imagination. Cool, I gotta go. Hey, but I want to tell you something. We'll do it in imagination. Oh, but I really want to tell you. Oh, really want to. Oh, yeah. So now we got a real desire. Let's have another one.
wow, that's fun. Well, I loved how you expressed noticing from everywhere, because I did that near the ocean. I used my body. I noticed from my whole entire body, and now that I caught you saying that, I'm like, so that's a place where I can start and dive in from there. Which is really cool, because I'm just sitting here with, as I talk to you and listening, I'm like, okay, here's all my body, and I can notice from everywhere. It doesn't have to be just from one place. I really enjoy your comments and your talking, because it gives me a different way to talk and to be very comfortable about it.
Nice.
And it's like, wow, this is speaking. You don't have to be this high energy, enthusiastic, deep pounding voice, which is super fun. But you don't have to do that.
It's a great option, isn't it?
Yeah. You don't have to be this guy whose neck muscles are popping out when you're talking. Because it's a lot of those dudes, they worship the struggle, like you said. And sure, it's fun to hear him talk, but it doesn't do anything. Or temporary.
I love discovering options. Like we said, yellow's useful when yellow's useful.
I love the options. What was really cool today? Before I listened to 6, I was like, oh, I didn't listen to number 5 recap.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't listen to it, so I was okay. I'm gonna go listen to number 5 recap. I did that. Intro, day 6, and then when I got to day 6 recap, I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, wow, these weave together perfectly. Like, and then I was like, oh, there's that word, weave together. We haven't even talked about that yet. Everything weaves together, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I was like, I was like, this wasn't even the order of last time, but it was so wonderful because, like, literally, I thought I was killing myself last time. And then when I got both of these together, it's like, oh, I'm just killing the beliefs and the thoughts. And I've been able to implement that right away because that's what I do with my goal. I was like, okay, I'm implementing this right away in my life, in my relationships, in my business, in my this. And oh my gosh, like when you sent me that email, literally like, what's the desire? It's so useful in infinite aspects. And when when I tell people this in the group, I'm like, please, I know you'll get this. I know you'll get this. And I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. I'm like, it's okay, you'll get it. I promise you will.
It's interesting being a marketer. I'm curious when we get to the points where we bump into that soon in Dream Driven Day, how that impacts you this time. Because like marketing to me is really about noticing what are people's real desires, because until you notice their real desires, you can't fulfill them. And I notice when I go to the health food store, it's all about energy.
Uh-huh.
People talk about wanting to live a long time, but it's all about energy.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a product that says longevity and a product that says energy, energy's going to win.
Energy will always win.
Energy will always win. Yes. It's fascinating because when you get, this is what I really want, then you can really get it. Versus, well, what I think I want, what everyone says I should want. Well, I really do want to live a long time. No, you want to live a full time.
But I'd rather live with energy right now and the experience.
Totally.
Screw longevity. I mean, it's like you'll get there. So what?
I notice longevity dies after the energy dies.
Yeah. You know what's really cool is
Shh.
I've just been thinking the word marketing and just and noticing and like the way you said it tonight was such a. It wasn't just a connection. It was like a floodgate breaking open. Like a way to notice that nobody ever talks about, like they say it, but they don't say it like you said it. They all say it like the way that everybody else says it, which has been repeated, and there's no luster to it. There's nothing that I can hang on to. And you're like, what are their real desires? It's like I can connect to that, and I make myself connectable.
Yes.
And I know that I'm very connectable and very relatable. Because I lay me out on the table for everybody to connect to. Oh wow, that's really cool. I didn't even know I did. I know I did that, but like this is a whole new layer. Oh, it's a layer. Oh, oh wow.
When you listen back to the recording, I can imagine your giggles.
Oh man, it's so good. Well, because it's like when you were we were on the call, the DDD call with everybody on it, and you asked the person to not use the one. Well, you didn't say. You said I like the word layer instead of something else.
Level. Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was great.
It removes something that needs removed in that instance.
It did. It removed it and gave an experience that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, there's learning. Learning is behavior change.
Yeah.
Yes.
20's always right.
20's always right. You seriously should have seen when we were walking the dogs, and these two ladies come up behind, and I turn to them, and I chat, and then I say, and tell Grumpy up there the 20's always right. And I think both of them walked past and said 20's always right. Like, you're damn right.
Oh my gosh, I lost it when I was listening because this is the second time I heard you say it when you said breast milk.
Oh yeah, powdered breast milk.
Yeah, and Victoria loses it every time. It just makes me laugh so much. It makes me laugh so much.
In a world where fun deficit disorder
exists rampantly.
Oh, it's been pandemic for a long time.
Yeah.
Like the COVID stuff is like, that's the new kid on the block. Fun deficit disorder. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm loving the updates with, I'm still connecting with people. Like, yeah, you can put a mask on or not put a mask on, but I'm still going to touch you. One way or another, I'm going to touch your heart. I'll get at it through your eyes. I'll bathe you with my voice. Mm-hmm. But I am going to get you. Yeah. Yeah.
This lady. Go ahead. Speaking of that, I've had a lot of better results. I think I killed that part of me somehow. A lot of it. Because I would say hi, and I think I'd be afraid to say hi, but now I'm getting a heck of a lot more people responding more than they were before, which is
nice.
It's delightful. Like, literally, I'm like, there's these two young girls, I'm like, it's this that kind of came in and then it left, and where the emotion would be, I don't know if they're gonna say hi to me, and it literally, as soon as it came, it left, and I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? And both of them were like super engaged. I'm like, sweet, I did that.
Yeah, nice. Imagine how much younger they are. Like that whole thing with human growth hormone and the happy chemicals, and it's like, like there's a girl that passes us almost every day walking the trails, and she's just one of 50. Yeah. In a typical day.
Yeah.
And I can watch her get younger. Just a couple words, a smile, but there's more bounce in her. And it's like, there's more bounce in her. That's younger. Old people shuffle, young people bounce. Babies really bounce. How much more bounce can we invite her to?
I love how you said that, because they did bounce when I said that.
Yes.
They literally did. And people do. When I engage with them, they do bounce. And I'm so glad you said that, because I didn't know what they were doing. I just know they did something. And some people, they get scared and bounce, which is entertaining.
Do they bounce and then get scared?
Huh.
I suspect that's the order.
I bet you're right. Because the dude did that today. I was on my walk. I don't have a mask on. I'm never gonna wear a mask. And the people all have masks on. And the dude's walking his dog, older dude, older than me. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And waved my hand, and it was like he got excited and stopped immediately and just kind of glared at me. And I just was like, oh, cool, whatever,
Want me to tell you a trick?
Yeah.
So and by the way, this is such a nice one. So it's like, like when I see someone, I mean, like, okay, hey, right? Oh, yeah. I just did it for Emmett. Hey, right? Morning, right? And if they give me the least amount of attitude, there are times where I'll find myself just saying, "Oh, dude, sorry, I thought you were friendly, a friend of mine." And oftentimes they'll go inside and go, oh, I'm friendly, and then they'll relax.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's not really a word thing. It's something that develops spontaneously for me, because it was a res geste, but it really is the truth. It's like, yeah, I thought you were friendly, a friend of mine. I've just and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, I am friendly. You just remind them.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to be terrified of humans. You can actually
Yeah.
be friendly.
Oh, I thought you were a
And
friend of mine. Because sometimes
really,
I want to say nights work better.
there are times where I'll say friendly. It's an option.
Yeah.
Like, yes, obviously you're not selecting it today. That's fine. Right? Cube gets nervous. He's like, someday someone's going to throw down on you. He says, no, they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell that's not a good idea. Friendly. It's an option. Try it on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know. I'm going to share this with you. It was really cool. Um, Back to people that have already passed away. My dad and I, we were in the temple, and we were doing baptisms for the dead. You know, I was standing in
Right,
his
right.
proxy, and this dude comes up to my dad and me, and he's in tears, and he's like, "Hey, I feel prompted to tell you that your ancestors are here." Because we were doing it for his dad, and I think two of his brothers. And man, I was like, man, I wish I could have felt that. I said to him, I said, well, that's great, but why aren't they telling me? I don't know why. I just really want to tell you that. I have no idea why.
It sort of goes back to the joggers, right? You
Yeah.
can hear them coming. You can smell after they run past. Sometimes you get to have a conversation.
Huh.
Sometimes they just don't know what to do. It doesn't matter if you're quote unquote alive or dead. Some people just, feel odd conversing. Sometimes it takes them 5 or 10 times of running past me to finally go, all right, I'll fucking say hi. All right, I'll be friendly. Yay! I made a friend.
Oh, no kidding.
No kidding.
So, wow. And that would that would explain, because literally, like, these past, like, 3 days, or maybe 2 days, I keep seeing things, but they're not there. And I know they're there, but they're not there.
Sweet.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like, I'm like, I know I saw something, but it's not there, but I know it's there. I don't know what it is, but I know it's there. I mean, literally, and it happened frequently today. Oh, this is cool.
I'm at. Go away.
Because, like, there's this, our second dog, well, I call her our first dog. She was the one that we'd had her forever until somebody poisoned her, which we don't know why. But there's times I want to see her so much. And my dad said one time she actually woke him up after she passed away. And what she would do, she would stick her nose in you, wake you up.
What if everything was always available, and the primary thing that you get to do is only sample a little bit of the pie? It almost sounds like I'm talking anti what we covered in the course.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It almost sounds that.
It is,
but
but
it really
not.
is.
It's complete and it's fulfilling. It's like wow.
We can only really have. Well, we had lasagna for lunch today.
Yeah.
And I think we're having fish tomorrow. I think that's what we discussed.
Uh-huh.
But it's interesting because it's like literally. I mean, we can have anything. But it's like, what happens? Can we go a few minutes over?
I was waiting for you to go as long or as little as you wanted.
We get to drop criteria like good, bad, right, wrong.
Uh-huh.
Good, bad, right, wrong prevents us a lot of people don't want to see ghosts because it's bad. Or they do want to see Grandpa because that'd be good, but then having to see him would be bad. And good bad just gets in the way of you have a pound of meat and you've got 10 tons of good bad going on around it.
Uh-huh.
Or right wrong makes it more moral. Well, is it good or bad that we're eating fish on Friday?
That's hell.
Is it right or wrong? Oh my God! Now we're bringing that into it. It's a different set of criteria.
Yeah.
But everything is available, and we've got to limit our experience in some way because of the structure that we are here.
Uh-huh.
But we get to drop the things like literally. I mean, I get it. As a little boy, it was bad to be aware of like dead pets and things, right? I mean, it's like,
Right.
yeah, Smokey's visiting me again. This is really freaking me the fuck out, right? Why are you
Yeah,
pissing the bed again?
you didn't know what it was.
Yeah, right. Oh, there's no such thing as ghosts. When when a dog dies, a dog dies. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. No more nightmares, right?
Yeah.
However, how many decades do I got to stick around till I go, oh wow, yeah, I can experience Smokey or George or my little rat bandit. He was actually a mouse at any time.
Uh-huh.
But it was overwhelming as a 7-year-old little boy.
Well, yeah, because it's like, yeah, you don't know what's going on. You know what's going on, but you don't know what's going on.
Exactly. So like, all right. So you get to give yourself permission. I can have spice on the rice. I can experience my puppy again. And your puppy might come back as another puppy or a cat. Who knows? But in the meantime, like there are times where I notice I'll experience talking to my father, and then I'll turn on Skype and see that he called.
Dude, that's cool.
All the time.
Because he's still alive, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But how cool is it that, like, literally, we talked about dreams. I dreamt of this place for years before I came here.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know it was here. All I knew is there was a cool little place, and I knew some of the features downstream from the stream. I knew the city of Melbourne before I was ever in Melbourne.
Uh-huh.
I always thought it was New York or Europe.
Yeah.
Turns out to be a combo of both. But when we really get consciousness is the only reality, and what we can be conscious of isn't like quote unquote multiple universes. It's just, we've got so many entry points, quote unquote. We've got so many ways to explore. It's like, wow, we don't need multiple universes or our own universes or anything. What is, and gosh, what the ways we can perceive it are endless.
It's, yeah. I love how you said that, because it's like the permission. It's like you were told not to give yourself permission, and you're like, oh, I can give myself permission.
Yep. You don't gotta wait. I put out a product years ago. It's called the Silver Star Syndrome, and in part of it, what I mentioned was we learn to sit in chairs and wait for the nun to ask the questions so we can give the right answer. And instead of living lives where we ask the questions so we can have the experiences. It's a totally different way of life. Do I sit here and wait for someone to ask so I can answer? Or do I ask questions so I can experience? Feels like I gotta go soon.
Okay, that was just like such a. I don't even know how to explain what that was. That I'm experiencing as you said that.
Enjoy it.
I am. I am. It takes precedence over the other thing I want. Well, it makes the other thing I want to bring up not even. It's like, yeah, whatever. I don't care about that anymore.
Boom, buddy.
Anything else you'd like to add? Or
I want to thank you for a delightful call, and let you know how much I appreciate you also diving into this round of Dream Driven Day. I'm just fascinated with the people that take it multiple times and how you all show up differently each time, and it's that to me is an adventure. So coolio.
Thank you. I caught you're saying something as one of your comments about, I think you said about manifesting mastery, where like, I made this so you have to report because it also gets back to me.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I'm still giving back to him because I was kind of worried that I wasn't. I was like, I'm giving back to him every time I participate in everything. And I was like, wow,
Sure.
that is so cool. Because I was worried at first. I'm like, no, I'm giving back to him. It's okay. Don't worry.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. It's
All right.
it's that thing where I always question what the core belief structures are.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like, man, the average person doesn't understand the rule of 72. The average person has a core belief structure that the power's outside of them. And it's like, oh my God. Once you bump into a couple things and you really entertain them, oh my God. It's...
Yeah. Yeah, I feel it. So you can't even say it. You just feel it.
You can't even say it. I can't describe my days. I can tell you guys about like the obvious stuff. Up at 5, email out, coffee, dog park, my little pool now instead of the big pool. But God, it's the space of the day. It's the connecting of the dots every day. It's the tapestry every day.
The weaving of it.
You got it.
Man, this is like, it's indescribable because like just the experience now, which leads into the rest of my dream-driven days for the rest of my life.
Yep. Cool.
Thanks so much.
So I'll send you a link to the recording. Let me know if you want to keep it public or private or whatever. I know you said public before, but that was before the call.
No, let's do public. We didn't talk about anything that I would like
cool
break down or cry about or say.
Even that's fun.
Well, yeah, I would do it. I mean, like if I did that, because like literally there's only like one topic I was like worried about if it came up, and then as soon as I said that, I was like, oh, just imagine it's a good call. I don't even have to worry about that.
Boom. Yes.
So
all right. Well, I'll get this to you, and I'll get it edited and up on a video sometime in the next couple days. I'm a little lazy today, but
that's fine.
Thank you, my friend. Big love to you.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. Catch you in the group.
Okay.
See you, Scott.
See you. Thank you.